A checkout girl often leaves with an elderly customer, and one of her colleagues jumps to conclusions. A young checkout girl had been working in the same supermarket for a few years. But recently, one of her colleagues had noticed her strange habit. The same elderly man always turned up at the supermarket at closing time. He bought a couple of items, but it looked like an excuse to see the checkout girl. As a matter of fact, when the woman finished her shift, the old man waited for her outside, and her colleague often saw them walking home together. She only got divorced from her husband a couple of months ago, she thought to herself. And she's already going out with another man, what's more, much older than her? One day, the woman decided to tackle the issue with her colleague and asked her, "Who is that well-dressed old man who comes here every night?" The checkout girl told her, "As you know, I recently had to deal with a nasty divorce. It wasn't easy. I felt confused and lonely. I looked for my friends' support. But every time they told me I had to be strong and get on with it. When I cried and unloaded, they turned the other way. They offered me set phrases, but I never really felt understood or listened to. One night, after a tiring day at work, I felt overwhelmed by emotions. And as soon as I got out of the supermarket, I burst into tears. At that very moment, that elderly customer was getting out of the supermarket. He looked at me with the eyes of a person who knew what suffering was and smiled at me. Without saying a word, he made me feel supported and free to unload. I found out that he had also been alone for a while. He knows how it feels, and from that evening, he has made sure I don't cry, and has kept me company while walking home. Sometimes we don't even talk. But that silence is full of the solidarity and understanding that nobody else has given me." The woman's colleague was moved by that story and felt ashamed for having jumped to conclusions about her and the elderly man. She had been so shallow that she hadn't realized it was just two lonely souls who, despite being apparently different, had found support in each other.